So drywall, the product, is interesting. I find it very interesting. It's a paste, like a slurry, made from the mineral gypsum. Okay, they spread it out. They make a sandwich essentially. Put down a piece of paper. Put this layer of gypsum paste down. Put another piece of paper over that. Compress it. Dry it. Cut it to the right dimensions, and that's your sheet of drywall. Okay. This stuff is very, very inexpensive as far as building products go. It's also a product that has, depending on where it comes from, I would say, okay, there's this whole like bad Chinese drywall thing that happened for a while. It was making people sick and had all these like heavy metals in it and stuff. But you buy good old American made drywall, gypsum board, it's pretty easy on the environment, I guess is the term I want to use. Gypsum is a readily available product. It can be recycled infinitely, okay? And I've actually looked into recycling like old drywall. It's actually kind of difficult if it has paper on it. And the whole recycling process, taking old drywall or even scraps of drywall and recycling, it is kind of cumbersome because they want you to take the paper off, and there's nobody around here that does it. But anyway, in theory, it can be infinitely recycled. It's a readily available product. Okay, we're not going to run out of gypsum anytime soon. We don't need to strip mine any mountains or cut down any forests to get this product. Okay. Moving on, what we do with it is we attach it directly to wood framing in most cases. Okay? Sometimes we're going to apply it over a product called Resilient Channel, and what that does, it's like a metal bracket that is kind of Z-shaped, and you attach that resilient channel to the studs, and then you attach the drywall to the resilient channel. And that actually does a couple things. It creates a sound break, okay? The sound waves can't vibrate through the drywall directly into the stud, okay? It creates a break for sound waves. So if you're trying to do some soundproofing, you would utilize that resilient channel. But it is also utilized in firewalls, okay, or fire ceilings. It adds additional time. It takes longer for a fire to burn through everything if you use resilient channel, okay? Apologize, I got sidetracked a little bit with that. We're going to use nails or screws to attach that product directly to the wood framing. And I'm just going to say this, never use nails, okay? Maybe use them if you're going to tack the sheet up, but screws are so much better, okay? The screws don't back out. Well, you have this phenomenon called nail pops, okay? As the wood dries and it shrinks, it'll pull that nail with it or pull away from the nail, and then you'll have this bouncy drywall or a bubble where the nail popped through the board. You also have to use essentially twice as many nails to hold the board onto the wall as you do screws. Okay, so I've seen pro drywallers use nails, but only to tack the sheet up. Okay, I've seen them hold the board just like these guys are doing right here, hold the board against the wall, set a nail in each stud, lift the board up, tack, 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 tack each nail in with the hammer because that's faster than screwing, but then come back once it's held onto the wall, then come back and screw everything off, okay? There's different thicknesses that we can get in the gypsum board, and I'm going to use a lot of terms interchangeably here: gypsum board, sheetrock, drywall, okay, referring to the same thing. 5/8 is the thickness that we most commonly use on the ceilings. Couple different reasons. 5/8 is thicker. It takes a lot longer for fire to burn through 5/8 than it does 1/2 inch. You wouldn't think that 1/8 of an inch thickness makes a difference, but it does. So that's primarily the reason why we're going to use 5/8 drywall. If we don't have to worry about fire rating for whatever reason, and if our ceiling joists are every 16 on center, then we could use 1/2 inch on the ceiling. Okay. If our ceiling joists are spaced 24 inches, every 24 inches, we have to use 5/8 drywall, no matter what. Okay, that's just the way it goes. 1/2 inch drywall, we can use on the walls. Okay? If you want to use 5/8, it's better. It is more rigid, it's straighter, but it's heavier and it's more expensive. Okay, so what you usually see is 5/8 on the ceiling, 1/2 inch on the wall. You can use 1/2 inch on the wall if you have 24 inch on center framing, because you're not fighting gravity as much when it's on a vertical plane. It's sitting on top of another sheet of drywall that's sitting on top of the floor. Okay, when you put something up on the ceiling, it's fighting gravity, so it needs to be thicker so it doesn't sag. Okay. They also have 1/4 inch drywall, 3/8 drywall. I think they make a 3/4 inch drywall, which I've actually never seen before, but 5/8 and 1/2 are most common. Okay. 1/4 inch and 3/8 are actually, counterintuitively, more expensive than 5/8 and 1/2, because these are made on a much bigger scale than the 1/4 inch of the 3/8. Okay. I usually use these for patching something. These are also nice. Say maybe you have like a radiused wall. These will bend much easier than 1/2 inch or 5/8. So let's say you built like a radiused wall, done something cool inside your house. You could do 2 layers of 1/4 inch to make that bend. And then those 2 thicknesses would get you up to 1/2 inch drywall, which would be the minimum thickness for the wall. Okay. As far as the sizes of the sheets, 4x8 is the most common. Okay, that's the classic. If a homeowner needs to do some drywall, they're getting a 4x8 sheet. Okay, what you see the pros doing, okay, and I get it. These are lighter. These fit in the back of the Subaru. The 4x10s, 4x12s, those are going to be a little bit tougher. Okay, so they're heavier, but when you use a 4x10 or 4x12, you cover a lot more surface area and there's much fewer joints to tape and finish. Okay, and that's the key. That's where the labor really comes in to a drywall project, is taping and mudding. Okay. Also, if you have, standard bedrooms could be finished, one entire wall could be covered in a sheet, either a 4x10 or a 4x12 sheet. Okay, all you would have is tape joints in the corners. You wouldn't have any of these intermediate joints. And then when we get to it, you'll see that the butt joints, where 2 pieces of drywall panel meet, those are actually the hardest to conceal. Okay, these edge joints, these are actually tapered, so they have a little trough for the tape and the mud to fit in. It's much easier to finish that out and blend that in. Okay, so more on that in a minute here. 4 feet is the standard width. You can also get 4.5 foot wide sheets. You can get 5 foot wide sheets. Okay, and I should actually say tall. Now, I think wide's fine. 4x8, 10, 12, that would be the length. 4, 4.5, 5, that would be the width, and that's fine. Let's say you've built 9 foot tall walls in your house. If you get 2 4.5 foot wide sheets, you can finish that all in one pass. If you buy 4 foot wide sheets for a 9 foot wall, you have to rip down a 1 foot strip somewhere, and then that's a whole lot of taping that you have to do also. Okay, the entire length of the wall is going to have to get tape joints twice. Okay, whereas if you get a 4 foot wide sheet, then you can just do 1 tape joint. Okay, 10 foot walls, you can get 5 foot wide sheets. I think around here that's something you'd have to special order. I've gotten 4.5 foot wide sheets before, no problem. I mean, they don't have a ton of them in stock, but I've never seen 5 foot wide sheets. Okay, so that's certainly something, I guess I would say, if you're going to be doing 9 foot walls, 10 foot walls, you might want to plan ahead a little bit and make sure that the supplier is going to be able to stock that for you. And around here, that's going to be Hensel Materials on Broadway at the south end of town. They are the drywall experts and also the ones that have the most in stock, sell the most drywall, therefore the prices are going to be lower. But any of the lumber yards are going to have basic drywall, 4x8 sheets. Okay.